All right, well, Cooper Kupp, we all know this. He's having a ridiculous season on the field and in fantasy as well for the Rams. He's averaging north of 27 fantasy points per game. But this week, LA is hosting Seattle, who held Kupp to a second lowest fantasy point output this season. That was just like 16 back in week 5. So chase or fade for me here, Pearce, that this is a week to avoid Kupp in your lineups.
No, you fade that. You've got to play Cooper Kupp. Just make it simple. He gets open better than any receiver in the league. He's getting targeted more than any receiver in the league. I don't make it any more complicated. We can debate ownership and game scripts and matchups all we want. But if you just boil it down, and we've got plenty large enough of a sample size on the season, he gets open. He's separating from his defenders, and Matthew Stafford is constantly feeding him the ball. What more can you ask for? If you've got the money, put Kupp in there. There's no one safer at this point.
Do you agree, Steve? No one's safer at this position. I mean, the numbers really don't lie here.
I mean, the team that held Cooper Kupp's to the lowest fantasy output of the season was the Cardinals. Then he goes and plays them a second time, makes 13 catches for 123 yards and a touchdown, scores 34.3 DraftKings fantasy points. This guy is just a whole different breed at this point. Like, can you fade him because of the salary? Yes. Do you want to fade him because of the salary? No, because even at $9K, he's still returning value on his salary. This guy just cannot be stopped at this point. And with the amount that Stafford is going towards him, Odell Beckham, by the way, does have COVID. So what's his status? If he's out, I mean, can you give this guy any more targets? Maybe at this point, which is actually absurd to say. But truly, if they're down a couple more receivers, the Rams, Kupp's just going to keep going. So give me Cooper Kupp. I don't even care. He's 12,000, whatever. I don't care. Just give him.
Yeah, Rams getting hammered right now by COVID. Matt, you got to pay up for Cooper Kupp this week?
Yeah, I agree. He's still too cheap at $9,000. Like, this should be a 5-figure salary for him. So the conversation is then, do you want to play him in tournaments where he's going to still be really popular, even as the most expensive receiver on the board? That one I'm a little less sure of, because I think with Odell Beckham out, I think people will gravitate here. I think this could be a popular game too. The Seahawks side of the game is not especially expensive. And now the point spread for this game is closing in too because of the Rams' COVID concerns. So I think this could become a pretty popular stack target. So maybe you don't want to play Kupp in tournaments if he's the most popular player on the entire slate. But for cash games, I mean, he's just a lock. Like, I don't think that this is much of a debate. I think he's a much better fantasy receiver, and especially this week than guys like Adams and Samuel and Stephon Diggs. Like, he's more than worth the salary. It's just kind of a what is everyone else going to do consideration for me.